Hello children, we are discussing the chapter How do organisms reproduce. In this video, we will discuss the next topic, that is birth control. In my previous video, I'll explain you that how a fetus is developed into a young one and a childbirth takes place. In this video, we will discuss that how the excessive pregnancies will lead to the defects in the reproductive health of a female, and how we can prevent those excessive or unavoidable the circumstances by which the pregnancy occurs. First, why we need birth control? हमें जरूरत क्यों है birth control की? The first is increasing population. You all are very aware of this thing, बच्चे, that there is a population boom occurs in 1990s, and the population is increasing or increased already at a very high pace. So, for that, to stop that, we require birth control. Second, scarcity of basic needs. By this increased population, there is a scarcity, there is decrease in the basic needs of a person, like food, healthy, water, drinking water, the basic medicinal, facilities. Those all are deficient due to increased population. There are certain other social issues as well related to this. But here in science, we will talk about only the basic needs. Third, reproductive health of a female, of a woman. Excessive pregnancies or continuous pregnancy will lead to the adverse effect on the reproductive health of a female, of a woman. So to stop that, we require certain birth control measures. And the method by which we can control a pregnancy, that is known as contraception. It is a process by which a birth can be stopped. A childbirth can be stopped or can be prevented. That is known as contraception. The methods, the drugs, the various devices which we used for contraception are known as contraceptives. Contraception is the process by which a birth can be stopped. A birth can be prevented, whereas the contraceptives are the chemicals, or you can say drugs, or devices used for contraception. Those are known as contraceptives. There are in total 4 methods which we'll discuss one by one to stop the unwanted pregnancy or for contraception. The first one is barrier or mechanical method. What is it? In this, a mechanical barrier is used by a male or a female to prevent the mixing or to prevent the fusion of male and female gamete. इसमें क्या करते हैं बच्चे, एक ऐसा बैरियर इस्तेमाल करते हैं which stops the fusion of male and female gamete, that is sperm and the ovum. These mechanical barriers are condoms, diaphragms, cervical discs, etc. These are the devices which are made up of latex and are used by male or female to prevent the fusion of male and female gamete. The female condoms are known as femidomes. They do not allow the fusion of male and female gametes and thus prevents the fertilization. If fertilization is not there, the zygote will not prepare, and henceforth we can prevent the unwanted pregnancy. This barrier method also helpful in preventing STD, that is sexually transmitted diseases. In class 9th, you must have studied about these, bache, the diseases which are transmitted from a patient to a healthy person, from an afflicted person to a healthy person through a sexual contact. Those are known as sexually transmitted diseases. Example, AIDS, which is caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. The full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Next, syphilis, gonorrhea, all these are STD. We'll discuss that topic after completion of this contraception. So that is the first method, that is barrier or mechanical method. Second method which we have to discuss is chemical method. In this we use various chemicals which either kills the sperms or does not allow the egg to be mature. They does not allow the maturation of a immature follicle into a mature Graafian follicle. In chemical method, the various chemical drugs are used in the form of pills. There are two kinds of pills which can be taken by a female to prevent the fertilization. The first ones are oral pills. As their name indicates, these are the pills, these are the chemicals which are to be taken by a female through the oral route, through its mouth. These pills contain progestin or estrogen. These are the hormones which do not allow the egg to mature again. They prevent ovulation. And henceforth, if ovulation is not there, then egg is not released. The first of its kind of pill is matured in Lucknow in India, that is named as Saheli. That pill has to be taken for the continuous 21 days by a female in the menstrual cycle. So that is the oral pills. The second kind of pills are vaginal pills. These are the pills which are to be placed in the vagina, or you can say the birth canal of a female. These contain certain chemicals which are spermicidal in nature. What do you mean by spermicidal? That means they kill the sperms. One of the most common available spermicide is nonoxynol 9. It is a chemical which is used to kill the sperms. They do not allow the motile sperms to go to the uterus, and henceforth the fertilization cannot be able to take place. So that's how these chemicals helps in preventing the unwanted pregnancies. The third method is IUCD. Nowadays they are referred as IUDs. IUCD stands for intrauterine contraceptive devices. IUCD stands for intrauterine contraceptive devices. Intra means between, within, and uterine means uterus. In IUDs or IUCDs, there are certain devices which are to be placed inside the uterus of a female, and those will not allow the sperm to go to the fallopian tube or ampulla of fallopian tube. And ampulla is the site of fertilization. Hence, if sperm will not or would not be able to reach there, that will prevent the fertilization. अगर sperm वहां तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाएगा, तो बच्चे fertilization नहीं होगा, and in the absence of fertilization, there will be no pregnancy. So, these are the IUCDs. The most common IUD which is used by a female is copper T. Let us suppose this is the uterine part. Copper T is a T-shaped device made up of copper placed in the uterus like this. यूट्रस पार्ट में बच्चे इस तरह से कॉपर टी को मैनुअली इम्प्लांट कर दिया जाता है बाय अ स्किल्ड डॉक्टर, एंड दैट इज टू प्रिवेंट द एंट्री ऑफ स्पर्म फ्रॉम हियर टू द fallopian tube. And if sperm would not be able to reach there, the fertilization won't take place. So that is the copper T. But here is there are certain consequences of this copper T. There may be certain consequences of this copper T. The lady who is using the copper T must have to visit the doctor every 6 months. These copper Ts in the present days will come for either 3 years or 5 years. Why a person or a female who is using copper T will visit or must have to visit after 6 months? Because first reason, this copper T may dislodged from its position during male sexual act. During male sexual act, due to jerks into the vagina, that copper T may be displaced and may penetrate into the uterine wall and thus may cause infection. During the male sex act, sometimes, in some cases, this copper T will automatically comes out or jumps out of the uterus through vagina, even without the prior knowledge of a female. In that case also, fertilization can take place. So a person or a female who is using this device must have to visit the doctor every 6 months so that these kinds of complications can be prevented. So that is the two methods after the barrier method, that is chemical method and IUCD, and these two methods are not helpful in preventing the sexually transmitted diseases. The fourth method of contraception, which is in your syllabus, is surgical method. As its name indicates, in it, surgery is to be done in the male and female respectively to prevent the fertilization. This surgical method on the basis of male and female is of two types. First is vasectomy. In Hindi, this surgical method is known as nasbandi. Vasectomy word is taken from vas deferens, that is sperm duct. And this sperm duct is cut down and ligated, and then the entry of sperm into the semen is prevented. A person can be able to perform the male sex act very easily, but the sperm are not present in the semen. That means if a male gamete is absent, no fertilization can take place. So that is known as vasectomy. The sperm duct or vas deferens is cut down and ligated. Second, tubectomy. As its name indicates, tube means fallopian tube. In this method, the fallopian tube is ligated and cut down. fallopian tube को कट करते हैं बच्चे और फोल्ड करके लाइगेट कर देते हैं. This will prevent the entry of ovum or incoming of ovum into the fallopian tube, into the ampulla part, and thus prevents the fertilization. So this is the surgical method. Government of India is doing this vasectomy and tubectomy in the rural areas as well as in the urban areas for free in the government hospitals, so that the population of our country can be controlled. Next, there are some temporary methods as well. The first one is calendar method or rhythmic method. In this, a male and female will be well aware of their menstruation period. A female is well aware of this menstruation period and her partner also. So during the time period in which the egg is not released, that is before the ovulation, the second phase, that is the follicular phase, which is safe for mating, for intercourse, in that the person can do or perform the male sex act without the use of any protective device like condoms. So that is the calendar method. But this calendar method is not a reliable method. Why? Because in females, the ovulation may occur 1 or 2 days earlier or later than their actual 14th day of menstrual cycle. Even the diets also change these days, but so that's why this method is not very effective. The other method is coitus interruptus. That is also known as withdrawal method. What is withdrawal method? Just before the release of semen, a male withdraws its penis from the vagina. Thus, the semen is not released, and henceforth, fertilization can be prevented. So, these are the methods by which contraception can be achieved, by which the fertilization of male and female gamete can be prevented. After this, we'll discuss sexually transmitted diseases. As I explained you, bache, the diseases which can be transmitted from an afflicted person, from a patient to a healthy person through sexual contact. A very important topic for your board exam. These sexually transmitted disease can be transmitted through bacteria, or can be occurred by bacteria, caused by bacteria, and they can be caused by viruses. The bacterial disease which can be affect a person is gonorrhea. This disease is caused by a bacteria named as Neisseria gonorrhoeae. That is the name of its causative agent, and that is a bacteria. Next, syphilis. Syphilis is also a bacterial disease, a sexually transmitted bacterial disease which can be caused to a human being, and that is caused due to a bacteria named as Treponema pallidum. So that is the causative agent of syphilis. Rather than this, there are certain diseases which can be caused by viruses. First one is AIDS, caused by HIV. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Next is genital warts, that usually occur in females. Genital warts occur due to a virus named as HPV, human papilloma virus. So these are the sexually transmitted diseases which can be transmitted from an afflicted person to a healthy person by or through a sexual contact, and they may be caused by bacteria and viruses. So that is the end of your chapter, how do organisms reproduce.